But I am going to introduce you to our first reader, who I've been working with for more than 5 years. She never fails to make my day better every time I see her. She is a warm and gentle presence, and I am thrilled to introduce Ananda Lima.
That was so lovely, Jonathan. Now I forgot everything. Thank you. He goes like, do you want to do any special introduction? I'm like, no. And then he comes up with that. So nice. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, the staff and the usual suspects. And thank you, all of you. And Elisa, my media friend. And I have so much fun with you. I think you're so talented, and it's just so lovely to see you every year. I thank you everybody else too, in the conference. This is a very, very good vibe this year. I love it. All right, so I had more stuff, but I forgot. So usually I read poetry and fiction because I'm more of a poet, but I have a book coming out next year. Yeah, thank you. So I thought I should, read from this. I've been reading some of the stories throughout the years in different versions. So I don't expect you to remember, but I'll just say if it rings a bell so you know what's here. The story of the ghost that comes to the future to haunt the protagonist's mother. The story of the lady who eats Americans from the vending machine, and all of the other ones are in here. Last year I read snippets from each story, but there's also a meta frame in the collection, so there's like a writer layer, which happens in a lot of books I love, like Master and Margarita or The Hour of the Star. So I have this writer, so I'll read a little bit of this writer frame today. There's some repetition that is going to happen, but they don't happen one after the other in the book. They're very spaced out. Okay. This book is like there's fun hauntings, like devil and ghosts and stuff, and then there's underneath there's the scary haunting, which is like Ronald Reagan, Bolsonaro, these people. And here is the epigraph. There was a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind, and the prize is the soul. And that was Prince in 1999, Yahoo Internet Live Online Music Awards. And the other one is everyone on television was screaming all the time. And that's Masha Gessen in The Future is History. You probably couldn't tell by looking at her now, but once, back in her 20s, the writer slept with the devil. They met at a Halloween party in a pop-up art scene in 1999. She wore a red dress and a pillbox hat mimicking Nancy Reagan. Though the way the dress clung to her hips and the curves from the top of her legs to the lower back mocked the First Lady's performance of propriety. No one seemed to get it. The closest she got was naughty Jackie O, but the devil would. She stood in the red and blue neon light, holding a drink with her left hand, running her finger over her fake pearls with her right, when she saw him across the room. Thinking of that night now, at her desk in the bright morning light, the writer lifted her hand off the keyboard and traced her collarbone again, now bare between the top buttons of her plain denim shirt. The writer had not been a writer then, at least not openly so, but the devil had known. She typed, and her younger self took a sip of her drink and looked straight back into the devil's eyes. So that's one of the little frames, and this is the story that comes after it. Okay. Rapture. You probably can't tell by looking at me now, but once, back in my 20s, I slept with the devil. We met at a Halloween party in a closed-down store space in Union Square in 1981. I was nursing my third snake bite in the corner. Silhouettes danced to memorabilia backlit by a makeshift red and blue neon installation stuck to a crumbly brick wall. The devil was sitting alone on a beat-up brown corduroy sofa. I was Inauguration Nancy Reagan, a duffel red dress and hat, black gloves. He wore an ill-fitted suit, a faded orange wig, and some bad foundation. I walked up to him and was asked what he was, yelling over the music. He said he was the future. I told him his costume sucked. He said he was often misunderstood, scanning the room as if hoping for a specific somebody else to show up. I recognized some of what I've been carrying inside me, mirrored on his face. I thought my friends had stood me up. In my mind, I superimposed said friends, Michael and Angela, over the scene. Michael and Angela as I introduced them at the company Christmas party. Michael and Angela discreetly brushing their hands as they passed each other en route to the elevator and the copy machine, when I first realized they might be together. Michael and Angela the day I found them in the bathroom during lunch break. Those days, I saw Michael and Angela everywhere. I feared the two dancers in the corner, her arms over his shoulders, his pulling her by the waist, were Michael and Angela. Though it was useless to fear it now that everything was out in the open. If it weren't happening here, it would be happening somewhere else, in her bedroom, in the entry hall of their apartment building because they couldn't wait, in a taxi on the way here. I downed the rest of my drink. Are you waiting for someone? I asked the devil. The devil suspended his search and looked at me straight for the first time. Something awakened in my body. Despite his stupid clothes, he looked like a 1940s movie star, with that strong jaw, his nose, just the right amount of imperfection. It had been so long I'd felt anything like that. Even with Michael, the herd had coiled up around that feeling and all but strangled it. Yet, here it was again, the flagellantly want serpentining up my bones. I wanted it to stay inside me. The devil gave me a sly smile and complimented me on my nice family values. I held my fake pearls, feigning shyness, and sat next to him, then stretched my legs over his lap. I grabbed a cigarette and dangled it from my matted lips as I fumbled for my matches. He offered me a light. It was as if he held an invisible lighter. There was his hand and there was the flame, but it was dark and I wasn't exactly sober. I leaned in. He moved the fire an inch away from my reach and said I could just say no, smiling as if it was some kind of insider joke. I didn't know what he was on about, but I always liked dorks. I put his hands towards my cigarettes and inhaled. A heat flooded up from my fingertips where they touched him. It was so unexpectedly pleasant, the sparkling sensation of my skin, the warmth rising through my veins up to my palms. I let go of his hands while I still could. I took off my red pillbox hat, my Nancy wig, fluffed up my hair. I'd recently cut it like him wild, though my hair was brown and curly. I slid his wig off, revealing his immaculate black hair slicked back. I covered it with Nancy's hair while facing him, our mouths inches away as I adjusted the wig and topped it with a red hat. Remaining closed, I stared into him and put his orange wig on myself. He didn't look away as other men would have. Blondie's Rapture started playing. Our lips were on the verge of touching. Deep into his black eyes, had they been green? The reflection of the red neon looked like fire. All right. So this is like way later. Like, this is not the end of the story. This year, every year people think I finished the story, and it's just like the first paragraph or whatever. They're like, you're so weird. So this is way, way, way later in the book. You probably could not tell by looking at her now, squinting at the morning sun as she walked through the hospital sliding doors. But once, in her 20s, the writer slept with the devil. It was Halloween, and she wore all red. Thinking about it now, the writer was proud of her costume, as was the woman she had been that night in her amber-lit, pre-war New York City apartment, smoothing the sides of her red dress around her hips in the mirror propped against the brick wall. The writer zipped her puffy navy winter coat paused in front of her reflection on the glass exterior of the hospital. Her eyes were tired. The strays on her messy bun were golden by the bright sunlight. The writer and the young woman smiled at their reflections together across time. Sometimes the writer could still see the young woman's face hiding in hers. She could see it now in her blurry reflection on the window, their faces faintly superimposed. The young woman's face had been sharper. The writer's outline was softening, almost as if the young woman's face had been the present and the writer's the fading past. Almost as if the writer's face were the draft and the young woman's face the finished work. Thank you. And now, the amazing Cianon Jones.
Hello. Hi. First, I'd love to extend my many thanks for Leah, Gwen, Adam, welcoming me onto staff. This is my first year of staff. Thank you to the staff. I've had such a great time getting to know everybody, and just to be back here on the grounds of Sewanee. It's a beautiful place. So today, I'm a bit nervous. It's okay. I will be reading from one of my plays, Woe Begone. It's a play that still has a lot of growing, but I am very glad to be sharing it with you today, with these people, these actors who are helping me out with this. And I'll just give a little background. So the overall premise, Woe Begone, is about when August, a college dropout, is left alone on their birthday after a shattering fight with their best friend. They are coaxed by a mysterious phone call to visit Pastry's Pastry Shop, a fantastical late-night bakery that lures people to potential internal entrapment on their birthdays under the promise of free cake and a complimentary birthday wish. And the information you'll know leading up to the scene is, after arriving at Pastry's Pastry Shop, August eats a free sample mini cupcake that is, unbeknownst to them, poisonous when fully consumed. The cupcake takes effect, causing August to pass out, during which they are dragged into the kitchen by Pastry, the pastry chef, where the true intentions of this shop and its promises begin to unfold. And very quickly, I will run through our actors of who is playing who. I'll say the name, just give a little wave. We have August, Pastry, Eli, and Wasted 1, Wasted 2, Wasted 3, oh, Wasted 4, and Wasted 5. All right, let's get rolling. Scene 3, and this is just the first half of the scene. The kitchen walls are white and blank. A footed bathtub houses August's limp, naked body wedged inside. They float in clear water. The towering chef figure peels over them with a bucket, a tin, pale bucket with a rancid smell. August stirs. The bucket is lifted. August moans. The bucket is tilted. August awakens.
My child, poor child, you have lost the last of your love, but do not fear me. Do not fear this. I have come to give new life.
Blood pours into the water onto the body.
Why? Why do we weep? Why do we shed water from these methods of sight?
Another blood bucket.
Please stop.
From the moment we are born, we weep, we cry, we scream, we beg, and for why?
What is this?
Initiation. we inform the universe that we have the right to rage. We curse our mothers with our cries. Our first words are curse words. You know this moment.
Pastry kneads the blood into August's skin.
This motion, I can tell that you felt it before. Blood churning in your veins from anger, betrayal, abandonment.
I just wanted the free cake.
Where is your cake?
I don't.
Well, where is it?
I don't understand. Who are you?
I am your mama. Listen to your mama.
August chokes, bottlenecking in the throat until a releasing of baby.
Shut up, baby. You weren't supposed to swallow that.
What?
The cupcake. Stop playing dumb and start acting wise.
Pastry claps its thick hands onto August's brain.
It said free sample, not forced sample. It had a lethal dose of LSD.
What?
You're gonna die! What? Don't you wish for change? Wish for change? A complimentary wish? Ha! You think that has enough power to really do anything for you now? No! Now, what you need is a pastry wish. Now, that's something of use that could actually turn this all around. This could save your life, child.
Where's that girl?
In the kinky shadows.
What time is it?
That doesn't matter yet.
Where's my cake?
All that matters, maybe.
I don't even like cake.
But must you eat the cake?
To
consume the sweet bread.
It's
to
complete my wish.
Wish, complimentary wish, birthday wish, pastry wish.
I must find my cake for this.
Your cake is for a wish. One wish, but...
What?
Don't interrupt me.
Pastry pries August out the tub and cradles them in its arms.
Oh, but love.
Love?
Only love can vanquish your lonely. You do not love cake. You do not love candles. Destroy them then. Who do you love most? Who do you love the most? Destroy them. Do it before midnight, before your birthday ends. Do it. Seal your pastry wish like this, and you will live. And then you will love.
Eli runs out.
Delilah, come closer. Come and witness a miracle.
Pastry? You can't give them a pastry wish. A candle wish is more than enough. They didn't ask for this.
Pitiful cake with pitiful candle or plentiful pastry. We will let the child choose. August, would you like me to resolve all your pain with my mythic powers that you fail to believe in, where you will have a new life of love, friendship, and happiness? Or would you rather seek help from a pitiful stick of gold wax and leave your life in the hands of a bakery attendant drug addict?
I want to live.
Silence! The choice has been made. The time has come.
But I didn't finish. What?
Pastry squeezes August. August throws up blood.
Accept me, please.
You forced their hand.
I did what they could not do yet, my child. Your mind has been craving blood. Blood. Blood to be reborn. Blood to be absorbed.
August thrashes in Pastry's hold.
Ah!
Splash! Pastry drops August back into the tub. The wasted gurgle into the room, twitching and grunting. Pastry and Eli sink into the bathroom.
This isn't real. A nightmare. I never left my bed. I never felt the rain. I never opened the book. It's a trick. Xavier! Xavier! Come on out, man. It's not funny.
The wasted bodies begin to mock around them.
Who are you? Hey, no, cut that out. Xavier! Xavier, come on, it's not funny anymore. Come on out, Xavier! No. Don't leave me alone like this, please.
Thank you. Always say thank you.
The wasted look up. August looks up. A shattered mirror hovers above. August spots the red of their skin.
Is this all blood?
Blood! It's all blood! Blood! Oh, the vital potion. Oh, you so much of it.
Is this all mine?
August faints, slipping under the red waters. Bubbles surface, silence settles. The wasted are conscious. Welcome!
Ah, my ear. Watch your volume.
Not in the library, always so loud.
Oh, hey, August. You're early.
Looking glass.
So,
What?
earlier you mentioned a fairly off-putting opinion.
You judging my opinion? Nothing new there.
I just don't understand.
Then I'll say it again. They aren't mutually exclusive. You can't
You
compare
really don't
apples
have to
and
repeat
oranges.
yourself.
No. Yes, I heard you before, but I really don't think you've recognized how oranges are a variable within the development of fruit.
Where's Xavier?
He should be here soon.
I didn't recognize it because it doesn't matter. The direction of a singular apple doesn't rest on the existence of oranges alone. It's inconsistent to press
well, no,
one
but that's
cause
not what I was
the
saying at all.
dominant
You're
issue
not
of an
even
apple,
listening. He's
lacking
not
the ability to evolve.
An orange will shift and split or dissolve. It all comes down to the individuals who are manipulated by the genetics of the fruit.
Sure. Okay. Except no.
Oh, this is pointless. You know he only ever listens to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make no sense.
What?
You make no sense. Everything will change, even in the slightest, most incomprehensible way. Things change. It's inevitable.
Inevitable. Sure. Whatever.
No, it's not whatever. Variety matters because fruits change. They influence one another. Either let the fruits grow or die. No in between.
But a change in apples isn't the pure result of a change in oranges.
Well, any idiot knows that. That's not what I'm saying. He's not even listening.
I didn't come all this way just to be insulted.
Well, you certainly didn't come for conversation either. Always so loud.
What?
God damn it.
What?
Listen! You have no sense of manners.
Well, then neither do you. Who left this one in the house?
Yelling.
I'm getting a headache.
Hey.
Imbecile.
Hey.
Huh.
Rascal.
Idiot.
Brain dead.
What?
You have no brain cells.
You made me yell in a library.
And scene. Next is Norris Eppes.
I just love our long walk among the ferns. Sometimes it's nice to take your time with things, I guess. You get to appreciate nature, even fake nature, when you grow up without a TV, which is what I did. Did anyone else here grow up like without TV or? God, that explains a lot. Until one Christmas, my very frugal dad got his 8 children, of whom I'm one, our only Christmas gift. It was a VHS tape, and we were excited because all the other kids in the cult were also getting their first movies and TV shows, and we watched this movie over and over and over again, and at least it was a good one, but it was the only movie we had, so we just watched it, and y'all might have heard of it. Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. Speaking of groundhogs and animals, do y'all ever think about animals, non-human animals, and their consciousnesses and what it would be like if they could read and write and create art, and if we could also read and write or read what they had written? Like elephants, they're supposedly these creatures with this incredible memory, and sometimes I just think to myself, elephants, man, imagine how big their libraries would be. Really tall doorknobs. Okay. Thank you all for being here. I want to especially thank the 3 people who worked tirelessly during the year to make this incredible 2 weeks happen. The people who, you could say, keep things going. Whenever there's challenges, such as with a certain mobile application, they keep at 'em till it's fixed. And of course, all thanks to the leadership of our incredible director. I actually was trying to write an introduction with a pun for every staff member's name, and I got through everyone except for B. Okay, that was dumb. That was silly. This is the opening to a short story. It will take 7 minutes to read. Unless something happens, vacuum decay, we can never be sure. Jeff, the Forgetful Prophet. We're nearing climax at church. Pastor Bill, pacing frantically on stage, from fake fern to fake fern, has the microphone clutched in his hand. He's put its tip close to his mouth, and his eyes are closed, and he's imploring me to come along with anyone who is not sure beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are saved, to come and let the Lord inside them. I'm the youth pastor. Shouldn't I already know that I'm saved? I feel the call, but wouldn't it look weird to the congregation if I were to leave my seat, scooch past the other people in my row, and walk all the way to the front? I'd have to scooch past Danny, Elijah, Charlie, their families. How would they judge the sight of their youth pastor needing to answer the altar call? Thing is, they'd be right to judge. So when Pastor Bill, as the praise music is lulling us into a trance, and as the entire congregation stands and sways as one, and as this powerful feeling washes over the huge, dark room, when Pastor Bill asks, "Do you know for sure? Are you certain? Are you absolutely, positively, completely sure that you're saved?" When Pastor Bill asks these things, and I see others rushing forward down the aisle, kneeling at the front of the church, in front of the stage with its drum kit and hypnotizing lasers, I know I need to answer the call. I must, because I don't believe in God, and this church pays me to be their cool youth pastor, so I've got to believe. It's my job to lead the youths of this congregation toward the Lord's dope heavenly hangout and beanbag accessorized place. It's what I'm paid to do. It's what I'm paid to believe. So I drop my hands from their praise and worship position slowly. I stop swaying back and forth. The others around me can sense what I'm about to do. With half-closed eyes, I turn and slightly motion with my hands pressed penitently together. I inch along the aisle past everyone. Mrs. O lets me pass, and I brush against her and everyone else in our row with that unavoidable, squirmy, light touch. Then I'm out in the aisle, and I'm walking forward and going toward the stage, and suddenly the ferns are beside me, and the lasers are above me, and the drum pattern makes my head trigonometry, and I'm kneeling with my hands against my forehead. A voice sounds above me. Do you surrender? Yes, I say. Do you completely give up? Do you let yourself go completely free? Yes, I say harder. I surrender. A gentle hand is placed on my head, then another on my neck, and another two that cup my head around my ears. I hate this so much. I want to squirm away, but then more hands are laid on me, pressing and touching my shoulders, my back, my neck, and I guess touching the other hands which are touching me. The band continues its trance-like pattern as Pastor Bill prays over me, telling me that the Lord forgives me, that the Lord has great things prepared for me, that the Lord has even granted me a special power to use in my ministry to the youth of our congregation. I feel a great release, a melting, a dropping in the middle of my chest. I don't want the prayer to end. I want the hands to press harder. When Pastor Bill ends his prayer, all the hands lift, and I'm sad it's over. My eyelids are heavy, and I walk back to my row. The music is fading, and Pastor Bill begins a prayer to close the service. I collapse into my seat as everyone else is sitting down. I know that Pastor Bill likes to milk these closing prayers for all they're worth, so I bow my head into my hands, and God, my eyelids just melt into the floor. I shut them and let them be shut. In my dream, I get flashes, glimpses, patterns, and, dare I say it, a prophecy. It's Mrs. O, Danny's mom. She has cancer and 2 months left to live. I'm the only one who knows. Jeff, my dream self, tells myself, you better not forget this dream when you wake up. This is serious shit right here. This is the special power. Thing is, I never remember my dreams. This happens to me all the time. I'll be in the middle of a dream and it'll be like, ah yeah, rock star. There I am on stage with Nirvana playing live at Reading 1994, and in that dream, I get this idea for a song that is totally my own, totally the product of my unconscious, and it is so good. I'm listening to myself play it, and all I gotta do is wake up and remember this song because it fucking rips, and that'll be what I finally need to put my EP together. And in my dream, I'm like, Jeff, this has happened before. Just wake up and remember the dream. That's all you gotta do. It's in your head, it's not going anywhere. And then I'll wake up and go make coffee, and one of my roommates will be like, yeah, last night I had the craziest dream. I was being chased by this bear down a gravel road with long grass on either side, da-da-da-da-da-da. And in my head I'm going, okay, I had a dream last night too. I think it was important. Today it's no different. Inside my dream, I'm alongside Mrs. O in hospice with her thin wrists and slowed down conversation that makes me want to cry. I'm thinking, Jesus, I need to remember this dream. God is literally talking to me and telling me that Mrs. O is going to get yanked by the great fish hook in the sky. With Mrs. O and her wonderful smile, her snack trays that she brings every third week to youth group when she drops Danny off, she's going to die in 2 months, and I've got the main line from the big man, and I need to tell her to get to a doctor, like today. It feels like seeing the live version of the Olympics at 2 a.m., and everyone else is only going to find out what happens during the prime time at 7 p.m., except they don't realize the primetime broadcast isn't live. Then I wake up, feeling an absence. The pastor's prayer is over. The pews are emptying. There's a murmur and chatter. Pastor Bill has not only finished his prayer, but he's had the congregation stand, do their go forth and take over the world thing, sit back down, then stand again so he can release them to brunch. I've slept through all of it. Did I keep my praying posture? Did it look like I was suitably entranced in conversation with the big one that people just assumed I was praying through all of it, deep in devotion? I stand and stretch. Sunday. What a day. NFL's just started back. I'm gonna head home and watch Red Zone with whoever's at the house, laze around, and maybe start to think about the message for youth group on Wednesday. And wait, there's something I'm forgetting. Thank you. And now, Chelsea Witten.
All right, I hope you guys had fun, because this is going to be kind of a bummer. I've been sort of warning everyone, it's going to be like wall-to-wall sad dad poems, so that's what it's going to be. But first, I want to thank Leah, Adam, and Gwen for your friendship and leadership, and for the opportunity to be part of this truly amazing conference again this year. It's one of the best things in my life. And I thank my fellow staff members as well, who are among the most amazing people I have ever known. And finally, I want to thank this year's conferees for the art and joy that you've created here. And I love what this conference brings out of all of us, and I feel so happy to be here. I'm going to be reading some elegies I wrote while processing my father's death in 2021. And then I'm going to close with a poem that I wrote, or as a series of sonnets that I wrote before he ever got sick, but which is nevertheless also a dead dad poem. So have fun. Okay. And I'm going to probably have to hunch over the whole time. It's going to be fine. Okay. They're all called Dad, and I'm just going to sort of indicate the difference by the date. So this is March 2021. Dad. I'm short on time today. I overslept. I dreamed I walked the greenway near our house and found 2 miles along a secret zoo. Well, I say zoo, but I was dreaming. It was more like the distinct impression of a field with elephants placed on it, grayly, brownly, providentially, in 2s and 3s. And looking not unlike some herds of cows I've seen, but not entirely like, because their great big heads did not hang low and grind their teeth against the smudge of yellow-green. I think I climbed a split-rail fence to pet the baby's stony brow. Now, I don't know about your dreams, but mine don't tend to mean too much, or else their truths resent my tending. The elephants began a canny, slow retreat from me as I, peeing in early morning darkness, grew aware that I was here and never had been there, and reached for my dream journal like a tourist for her camera. They evaporated. Years ago, sometime after he died, didn't you say you dreamed you ran into my brother at a bar? The bar was nondescript, you said, and very dark. You couldn't see his face, but it was he who sat right next to you, because the pack of cigarettes he slid your way were Winston Reds. He said that he was doing fine, that what had happened had been God's design. You woke up comforted. Back then, a teenager, I'd thought it asinine, worse than a bad cliche, but now I think that it's what I would say were I to wake tonight into that dream with him, with you, lighting your Winston Red, running a tab up in your head's dim dive bar. It wouldn't matter whether it was true. I'd say whatever made it easier for you. I think I'm going to take my shoes off, so it'll be a little bit shorter. Okay, this one's also called Dad. It's from June 2021. Dad, I don't think you knew who Elvis Costello was, but let's proceed as if you did and do. You're loose dirt and white light now anyhow, so let's say you know what I know. Okay, Space Ghost? Extra special, seldom seen cicadas are upon us at the moment. They lurch out of earth holes like a prophecy. The folks on public radio will simply not shut up about them. Brood X or Brood 10, 17 years in hypogeo limbo and now back with a vengeance like Beetlejuice. There's another reference you'd never have gotten. Oh well, each comes encased in a pearlescent amber shell, which it then shivers out of when the time is right, red-eyed and mostly black with yellow racing stripes, big as a hummingbird but dun and graceless and benignly horrible, with crinkly wings the color of a dirty ashtray. Still, I have to say I like them. They don't bite or sting. They don't do anything but buzz about and hang out in the dogwood trees. Bumbling and friendly, they remind me of teenagers, which I guess they must be given their fortnight lifespan. One rode with me while I was working in the garden, clinging to my shoulder, croaking gently. But you'd know all about cicadas, even special 17 years rare cicadas. You knew everything peculiar about local nature. Anyway, this has all been to say we're out here, Matt and I and the 2 cats. We're out on our apartment's balcony, the one you called a too high liability, observing how the air is full of friendly little monsters. how they drift across the foreground of our dropout view. On brand new wings, we know they'll only get to grapple with a few short weeks, and one of us, I don't know who came up with it, started singing, "Watching the cicadas, watching the cicadas." Get it? This delights us. We are singing it now as I write this. We have been sliding almost absent-mindedly into a kind of post-traumatic super bloom. We are remembering the trick of surfacing, exposing our interiors to sun. I just realized that I'm maybe not doing as well on time as I expected to be. It's okay. I'll just cut a poem at the end. This next one is called Dad. It's from early May 2021. Dad, just watched a speedboat rip a light streak from a lake. Just heard a loon keen. Oh, I was in Minnesota lake country. I just heard a loon keen, tucked my elbows back inside a hammock swing, just popped a raspberry and tasted purple, sweet, and acid. Hummed a little battle hymn, undid my hair's taut night braid. You are only here to hear me now. I have you wholly wrapped forever now. Key West, March 2022. Après-moi le déluge. Dad, I plan to do a dead man's float until I gather enough tools and scraps to build a raft. Thenceforth, I'll work my oar and fish if there are fish. I'll try to notice what I can about the world post-shore and learn to drift. Of course, I'll be disoriented, lonely, but I won't despair. I'll find the others, we'll collaborate, form constellations, flow in webs, and know much more as one, the way a shoal knows where to bend and where to go. We will cease dreaming about hills and harbors, not because we won't remember, but because they won't arrive. And so, surviving, we will make new memories, invent alternative cartographies. You asked me once why I so seem to like the fight. Why don't you give that line a little slack? I was confounded by the question at the time. And I guess this is the last one that I will read. It's also called Dad. Dad, I imagine you growing diffuse, becoming daily less one thing, less a singular man, more room for outer space inside of you, your life force spread wide and stirring slowly, lovingly into the starworks. Forgive me, I can't wish it otherwise. And I'm the last one, so thank you guys so much.